Hi, YouTube family. It's Thursday, so happy crappy hour to you guys, or happy Thursday. Um, I wanted to welcome you guys to our channel, and I hope you guys are doing well this week. I want to talk about a certain topic today, but I'm going to give you guys a few seconds or a few minutes to get on. And in the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about my happies and crappies this week. And I'd love to hear about yours. So I'll just start it off that my happy this week was I got to go out and see E.T., the movie E.T., right? A long time ago. And I hadn't seen it in, gosh, a long time. So it was really cool. If you've never seen it, I would recommend it. It was very well done, very cute. And I hope that you guys get a chance to go out and do something fun this week, splurge on yourself, enjoy, just have a good time and take your mind off of things and enjoy some beauty, some art, some music. It's good stuff. So that was my happy. And it really took me away. I really enjoyed it. I thought I wouldn't, but oh, you know what? It wasn't just a movie. It was that we had an orchestra play the music live during the movie. So that was my happy, going to see E.T. and having a live orchestra play. It was just quite a special, event. So another thing, let me see, my crappy this week was sometimes, and I think we all do this at some point, and I have to stop doing this, is I look side to side. And this is going to, this affects everybody. When we look side to side, we start to compare. And that's what I mean by side to side. We look to the right, we look to the left, we're looking at, our neighbor here, we're looking at um, our, our coworker. Oh, hi, Gamer Christina, good to see you. So I'm talking about my crappies this week, and it's a pitfall that many of us have that it really ruined a few of my days, and because I just allowed it to take over my mind. So, happiness and healing is a battle over your mind. So I just want to share that with you, and I'll go into it a little bit more. Hi, Amina, good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah, and yes, Oscar, for those who don't know, this little guy here is Oscar, and I am happy to go by that name as well because, as some of you know, I do try to stay anonymous because some of the narcissists are still in my life, and I don't want to expose them. My channel is not here to bash them and expose them. It is here to learn from my experience with the narcissists in my life, what works, what doesn't work, the abuse I've seen, and some of it, it's sort of like behind the scenes views of what the narcissist is thinking, because the narcissists in my life talk to me about a lot of things. So, and a lot of what I talk about now is not ongoing, because I would never allow someone to continue to abuse somebody that I'm aware they're abusing. Some of the narcissists are no longer in my life, have cut me out because, I caught on to them. They know that I know. And anyway, a lot of times that's what happens with relationships with narcissists. They will abandon you or discard you once they realize they can't fool you anymore, or once they realize you're onto them. So anyway, so that's why I stay anonymous. I don't want to expose them and have people say, oh, now I know what you were doing. And, it could get into some crazy stuff there, you guys. So, Eye Off the Tiger, good afternoon to you. Let me see. Oh, Amina, you said you've been ill a little. Well, I hope you're feeling better. So you guys, I was talking about happies and crappies, and I wanted you guys to have a chance to talk about what your happies and crappies were this week, what worked, what was good, what lifted your spirits, and then what was bad and what you should stop doing. And I already talked about my good, which was going to see the movie E.T. and have an orchestra, there was an orchestra there playing all the live music that went with the movie, and it was really awesome. It was really cool to do that. If you guys ever get a chance to do something like that, check it out in your town, your city's orchestra or philharmonic or something like that. It's so cool. So then my crappy was that I compared myself once again, and I know I shouldn't do this, side to side. The whole grass is greener on the other side type of thing. You think, oh, how come I'm not doing as well as that person? And you start putting yourself down and you think there's something wrong with you. So I fell into that trap again this week, which really stinks. I gotta say, it brought me down. It got me, I think I'm trying to remember how many days it kind of stole from me. Sort of like a day and a half. I mean, I didn't like all day long think about it, but it did rob me of joy, and I don't want that to happen to you guys. So I'm sharing that with you to let you know, if you are tempted to compare yourself to the guy next to you or the girl next to you or the neighbor next to you, the coworker, your ex, the new supply, whoever it is you're comparing yourself to, don't do it. There's just no need. And we don't start off thinking like, oh, I'm looking over there to compare myself. You start off going, it's like our tendency in our mind to put our own selves down. So when you see something that you haven't achieved, you start to question yourself. And then that's the comparison that I'm talking about. Anyway, you guys, that's what I wanted to talk about. Today, I want to talk also about a particular topic, and it is how did you attract or fall for the narcissist? Or how did the narcissist know to target you? How does this happen? And I have two scenarios for you guys. One from personal experience and one, oh, actually, they both make a lot of sense. And I probably have been in here at some point. I want to talk about people who've been wounded, okay? Wounded people, a lot of times, psychologists will say that narcissists will approach the wounded because they can see who needs them. And so they will emotionally get into a relationship with someone who is in need, right? And that need, by the way, is usually a fear of abandonment. Yeah. So when you are feeling abandoned, you tend to be kind of standoffish, or you have a fear of this, right? Something's happened in your past, maybe another relationship where someone abandoned you, or maybe you grew up and one of the parents abandoned you, or best friend, or something like that, right? So you develop this fear of abandonment from somewhere in your past. So that makes you less likely to attach to people, and you kind of, keep yourself walled off. Well, a narcissist can kind of detect this because they have a fear of abandonment as well. Narcissists, a lot of times, are very insecure, and we're aware of that, right? We know that narcissists will have very low self-esteem, and part of that is because they fear that people won't like them, or they fear that people will abandon them. So they can what they do is they overcompensate for that. So the moment that they start to connect with somebody, the moment they start to be able to sense another person is interested in them, boom, like the floodgates open up, and they do everything they can to capture that person. So if you're looking at yourself and going, why am I attracting the same type of person over and over again? It's because you may not have dealt with that fear of abandonment yet. And you tend to fall for somebody who opens the floodgates to try to embrace you and love you. And it's that whole love bombing that really attracts us because, especially if you've been abandoned, you feel like you're not seen. You feel like you've been neglected, right? And you have a trust issue, and they know this, right? But what the narcissist then does is they pour all of this love onto you, and they tell you, that's the whole love bombing idealization, telling you how amazing and wonderful you are, lifting you up so high that you've never, to heights you've never been lifted before. And then you think, oh my gosh, if this person sees me so special, there must be a connection between us. So you start to let down your guard about the abandonment. You start to think, well, nobody has attached to me so quickly before. So maybe this is the real thing. Maybe this is going to last because this person sees something in me that other people didn't. So if they see this special quality in me and they're making me feel this incredible, and then maybe this is the person I'm supposed to be with, and they're not likely to leave me because they see the specialness in me, right? So you think they're going to stay. So anyway, let me see. I'm sorry. I'm going to pause for a moment just to take a look at some of these comments. Amina says, I was wondering all about this. Why me? And Off the Tiger says, this is the drug. Yeah, right? We're addicted to this attention that the narcissist is now pouring onto us. But it's sort of part of their mechanism to deal with their fear of abandonment. So they attach quickly because they want to be able to pin people down. They want to lock you down, man. They don't want you to be leaving them anytime soon. So they're going to lock you down as hardcore as they possibly can. And that is our drug. You're right about that, Eye Off the Tiger. Gamer Christina says, I think I am attracted to frogs. I somehow think that sorry, it's kind of going out on me. I somehow think that if I kiss a frog, he will turn into a prince. Yeah. And Free Spirit, hi. And Eye Off the Tiger says they are the pushers. Yeah, essentially they are, right? They do. They give you this drug that gives you an incredible high. So we're talking about why are we a target for the narcissist? Is it because, and I think part of it is this, they have a fear of abandonment. We have a fear of abandonment. They have tactics that they use to handle their fear of abandonment, and that is to connect quickly with people. So they start love bombing and pouring and just attaching as quickly as they possibly can. And that's why they're able to tell us within a week or even a day of meeting us, I just love you. It's like, what? You don't even know me. What do you mean you love me, right? But that's what they do. And that's why their emotions are like right out there. It's part of their trap. It's their way of capturing a person who also has a fear of abandonment, who also needs love, who's, dare I say, desperate, right? Or kind of desperate to be loved, to be seen. So I have a few notes here. I just wanted to say that the narcissist will latch on quickly and intensely, making you feel they will never leave because they got deep emotionally and physically very quickly. And that's another thing that they will do is the physical. I mean, even if you like to take things a little slow, at least like 2 or 3 dates or a couple of weeks out, they're like, no, right now, I am so attracted to you. And they want to seal the deal, essentially, right? They know that the physical connection, if you guys start right now, that will pull you that will pull you deeper. So that's another one other place. And that's a big red flag for us. I want to show or talk to you guys about that and warn you guys that if someone is so ready and wants to jump into bed right away, yeah, there are some people out there who are just like sleeping around with everybody possible. But the narcissist actually uses that to control you and to capture you. So, and especially if you have a fear of abandonment, you're not going to be running around, sleeping around with a lot of people. And actually, that's kind of attractive to the narcissist because they want somebody who's not sleeping all over the place. They want somebody who's kind of stable and they know isn't going to have a wandering eye and is going to abandon them. So, excuse me. So I wanted to say also that this affirmation that they give us is the affirmation that they also need. So that's the crazy thing. they attract us or they capture us because we have a fear of abandonment. Or, if this is your situation, I'm not saying that it is, but if this is your situation, the narcissist will attach to you and make you feel like they're never going to leave you. You're their soulmate. You're their twin flame. There's nobody like you. They've never met anyone like you. And when they convince you of that, you think, there's no way they will leave me because I'm their soulmate. There's no way they're going to leave me because they've never met anybody like me. I am that special. Oh, hi, Kathy. Good to see you. I'm so glad you made it. Let me see, you guys. I have some comments here. I do want to take a look at here and catch you guys up a little bit. Amina says he rushed me so fast into marrying him. Exactly. That's the other thing too. You think if you come in with, and you may not even realize you have a fear of abandonment. Maybe this is an issue you've never even dealt with yet. You just have built walls. But with the narcissist coming in so quickly with their love bombing and their tactics of attachment to you, you can't see it coming. And then they tell you they want to marry you. I mean, that's the ultimate. You think, well, definitely they would not leave me if they know already that they want to marry me. And I want to tell you, it's a tactic. Don't fall for this tactic. We want to hear it. Sort of like these are the things we want to hear. These are the things we've been dying to hear from another person, and they're giving it to us. And they may not even realize they're giving this to us. But let me see. They don't realize they're doing this to capture us, or they do. They don't know that this is something that we need. It's something that they need because they need the affirmation. They need to be able to make sure you're not going to leave. They're trying to capture you so that you don't leave and abandon them. So we fall for it because these are also the things we need. And the crazy thing is, after they've love bombed you, after they've poured all this affirmation on you, after they've told you how amazing and beautiful, wonderful and funny and handsome or intelligent or whatever it is, how strong you are, you're just, the most cool guy I've ever met, whatever it is, they will then require you to do the same for them, because this was the whole point of the love bombing, was to get you to then pour into them because they need the affirmation. They need the supply from you. They need you to adore them. They need you to tell them that they're your soulmate. And the crazy thing is, they have gone through this multiple times with multiple people, telling all these other people, you're my soulmate, you're my soulmate. And all these other people got caught into it. They probably have been told that they were somebody's soulmate 4 or 5 times. And here you are saying it to them, thinking you're the first person to ever say it to them. But you're not. They just need that affirmation. They need that commitment from you, right? So that was one of the reasons, one of the scenarios I wanted to give you for why or how am I attracting or falling for the narcissist, or why is the narcissist targeting me? How does this happen over and over again? Especially for people who have dated 2, 3 narcissists, right? They're like, what am I, like a walking billboard? And it's not that you're a walking billboard. It's that you haven't dealt with your fear of abandonment. You haven't dealt with your wounding there. And once you've dealt with that wounding, here's the crazy, awesome, beautiful thing. Once you have dealt with the wounding of abandonment, and you realize it's okay. It's okay if somebody walks away. I'm stable in who I am. I am secure in my finances. I'm secure in my mental health. I'm secure in the 2 or 3 really good friends I have, or my family. I have a great relationship with my sibling or my mom or my dad. If you're secure and there's something that's anchoring you, when a narcissist comes in with their tactics because they have a fear of abandonment, they need affirmation, they're going to use these tactics on you. When they start love bombing you, when they start telling you you're the most amazing person ever, I want to marry you right now, you're going to be like, what are you, crazy? You're going to see it because you are secure, you are strong, and you're going to have this clear vision. You're not going to be looking through this lens of wounding. You're going to look through this lens of complete healing. And you're going to go, wow, I don't need this anymore. I don't need someone to love bomb me. I don't need someone to tell me like how, what, I mean, it's great that people tell you you're amazing, but it's not going to get you into this crazy infatuation fantasy world. You'll still be grounded in who you are, regardless of how the other person feels about you. And you'll take it as a compliment, like, wow, that's really nice that they said that about me. And I appreciate that. But you're not going to be addicted to it. You're not going to be addicted to them and needing them and desperate to hear affirmation from them. Do you kind of see that? Like why narcissists are so good at that? Because they need affirmation. And if you also are wounded and you need affirmation, you're going to fall for their love bombing and idealization. Okay, you guys, so that's the first part. I'm going to get to the second part. I want to see what else is going on here in the comments before I do that. Amina says, oh my gosh. I'm sorry, you guys. Let me go back here. Did you marry him, Amina? Eye off the tiger says. And because Amina said that he rushed her into marriage. So she said, yeah, she did. But she's getting a divorce after 4 years. Wow. That's the horrible, horrible thing about falling for the narcissist ploy, that they'll never leave you. You're their soulmate. There's no one like you. Well, if there's no one like you and you're their soulmate, why are they then treating you badly after a year or a few months or a few weeks? Why are they already making plans to abandon you? Yeah, it makes no sense. So we don't want to fall into the traps of the narcissist. Kathy says, oh wait, hold on, you guys. Kathy says, great topic. I was a widow for 5 years with 3 daughters. His son toilet papered our house. I went to his house to tell his father. That's how you met. Oh man. But you probably would have eventually met, right? I don't know, but still, it's almost like a, what do you call it? A foretelling, right? A bit of an omen. I'm so sorry, Kathy. But Dark and Lovely, hi, good to see you. Says G. I'm sorry, hold on. My narc refused to give me a divorce. Yeah, because they don't want to be abandoned. They can abandon us, but to abandon them, it's huge, huge trauma to them. It's a huge insult. It's a huge injury to them. And Eye Off the Tiger says they are looking for a doormat, aka slave. Yeah, they are. So they get you addicted. They know what they need to pour on to get you to believe that you're the only one and you're so special and they need you and they'll never leave you. And then you feel kind of trapped because you think, this person will never leave me. And not just that, but you're a loyal person, right? Good people are loyal people. And we will stick around. We're going to forgive. We're going to stay. We don't want to abandon someone on, 1 or 2 or 3 issues, or, we'll try to downgrade it or diminish it and say, well, they apologize. So, we're not so hard-hearted. We can't forgive. Anyway, I want to also tell you guys the second part. Here we go. The second reason we attract or fall for the narcissist is that you have another emotional vulnerability. And this is how the narcissist can get somebody, whether they are single or married. It doesn't matter to the narcissist. Because even if you're married, even if you are in a long-term relationship already before you met the narcissist, you probably have this emotional vulnerability or wounding that you're not even aware of. Even if you're in a good marriage, Okay, let me describe this to you. This is a situation where, say, a husband and wife, and I'll do one at a time, the wife and then the husband. So the wife is in this marriage, and the husband is nice to her, He's thoughtful, he helps out around the house. She asks him to do the dishes, he'll do the dishes. She asks him to help with the kids, he'll help with the kids. He goes to work, loyal to the family. He goes to work, he pays the bills. He let me see, he treats her well, takes her out to dinner once a week or once a month or whatever it might be. They go to places together, whatever she wants to do on the weekends. He's there with her. Oh, she wants to go, to crafts shows. Okay, he'll watch the kids for her while she goes out with her friends. Okay, she has a pretty decent life, right? And you think, well, how can a person like that fall for a narcissist? Well, she may not feel like she's desired by her husband. She may not feel like sexually attractive to him, even though they may have some intimacy, but generally it's not like, sweep you off your feet type of intimacy. It's, it's probably good. But she doesn't, and she thinks like everything's going along and she's doing great. And then the narcissist swoops in and suddenly he's like, wow, you are gorgeous. Or I just can't take my eyes off of you. And she's like, what? No one's ever said that to me before. And maybe she even got looks before, maybe walking down the street or out having lunch with her girlfriends. Like a guy might might hit on her at the bar or something with her friends. But, I shouldn't say bar, maybe a restaurant, right? He may even say, take a look at her. And she's like, gets a little bit of an ego boost. And that might even happen for her once in a while. But a narcissist goes further. He will get in there and just, in a way, love bomb her, right? Not the all out love bomb yet, but this is just the words that he's going to use. He's going to be staring at her. He's going to be telling her how, what an amazing person she is and how much he loves her, whatever style she's got. And he starts connecting with her by telling her all the things that she likes, he likes too. Suddenly, even though she was in this perfectly decent, good marriage with a good man who is, faithful and helps out around the house, like I was saying, suddenly he sparks something in her. Because women, maybe not all women, but the women I know, and myself included, we need to be desired, and it doesn't even have to be a marriage with a narcissist that falls apart because of this. It could be a normal marriage where if the woman goes along in a marriage and it's all okay, but she needs a little more and she doesn't realize, these are the things we are not aware of in ourselves until either one, somebody wakes it up in us, or two, we examine ourselves deep enough and ask ourselves the hard questions and figure out like, what is it I really want and need in my life? Or maybe not need, but you would want it. And if you're in a good relationship, your partner's going to be like, yeah, I'm willing to give you that. I'm going to start treating you in a way where you're going to feel like you're the most beautiful woman in the world. And I'm going to treat you like I desire you. And a lot of men have a hard time with that, especially if you've been married like 7, 10, 15 years, right? The guy starts to feel a little discouraged because maybe he tries it sometimes, like, oh my gosh, dear, you look so beautiful in that dress. And she's like, oh, come on, I don't, I look terrible. And then he feels like kind of deflated because you didn't accept his compliment. But then the stranger, this narcissist comes along and is like, wow, you are stunning in that dress. And suddenly your ears are like, what? How come, what? It starts to fill this vulnerability inside of your heart. That's how women get caught by a narcissist. Another thing, okay, I want to give you the guy side. So a man is happily married and his wife is beautiful. She's doing great. She's cooking for him and, comes home and there's a hot meal on the table. He thinks this is great. And she's, takes pretty decent care of the kids and pretty decent care of the house. And the kids are happy, they're running off to whatever, their activities and whatnot. And they have a pretty decent physical relationship, let's say that, okay? Or maybe even pretty good, a really good relationship, physical relationship. And he feels, pretty satisfied. But the day-to-day routine wears on him and he doesn't Notice this, right? That's that unknown emotional vulnerability I want to talk about. The guy, the husband, doesn't know what he's missing. What he does know is what he's got, which is pretty good. But say the wife doesn't laugh at his jokes anymore, right? She doesn't think he's the most funny guy she's ever met. She doesn't even think he's the most intelligent guy she's ever met. She might be like, yeah, he's pretty smart. I'm smart. We're both smart and we're good, and she doesn't really affirm him in that way. She also doesn't affirm him with his physical looks. Like she's not like, whoa, honey, you are hot, and she's just like, oh yeah, that looks good. Don't wear that, honey. Wear this. That looks terrible on you. That makes you look dorky or whatever. Wear this instead. Instead of saying, oh my gosh, honey, when you wear this instead, that you look so hot. When the guy doesn't hear that, he may not even know that he's missing it, right? But here comes the narcissist woman. She's going to be at his work. She's going to be staring at him like, oh, hi, whoa, that looks so good on you. And he's like, what? And like I said, sometimes people will get looks and they know that they look good or whatever. And somebody might pay them a small compliment and it just kind of like flows over them and past them over their heads. But the narcissist takes it a little bit further. Remember, the narcissist will start to flirt. The narcissist will start to touch. And this man who's in a good relationship with his wife, who is loved by his wife, they may even she might say things like, okay, they have fights, and that's going to happen in marriages, by the way, people. They have fights, and she might say things like, why are you so stupid? Or I can't believe you did that. Or this is terrible. And women, you need to stop doing this. Calling your husbands idiots. Okay. This has been on sitcoms all the time, and even sitcoms that I have loved to watch. But then I realized, oh my gosh, all these women are constantly calling their husbands idiots. And I don't know if you realize what that does to a man's soul. You don't call a man an idiot. I know there are things that men do that women don't understand. But guess what? There are things that women do that men don't understand, that are illogical. And men could be calling us idiots, and oh my gosh, that would be horrible, right? So let me back up a little bit. So this is his life, and this is her life as well, right, in the marriage. And they get along, and they're doing okay. They have the occasional fights, the occasional put downs or whatever, right? But then the husband hears from this other woman, oh my gosh, you're so funny. Your wife must be laughing all the time. And he's like, well, actually, she's not laughing all the time with me. We don't have that great of a time together. Now, suddenly, there's a little chink in the armor, right? Suddenly, he starts to be a little bit more attracted to the narcissist, who is now giving him the kind of affirmation he didn't even realize he needed, right? He thought they were doing fine because now and again, his wife would tell him, dear, I love you. You're the best man. I'm so lucky to be married with you or to you. I'm so lucky that you're my husband. She may say these things to the husband, but he also needs to hear some things that he may not be getting from his wife. And he doesn't even realize that. But the narcissist knows. They know what men need to hear. They know what women need to hear. And that's where I want to tell you guys how we become attracted or fall for the narcissist without even realizing it, even if we are in a healthy, happy relationship. We just didn't. Oh, here's another thing, by the way. So the woman narcissist, after the little bit of touching and stuff, she'll start wearing stuff that's very sexually, attractive. And that will start to get his eye and the flirting, and she'll start to arouse the sexual desire out of the man. So where the wife might get to the point where she doesn't do that anymore, or it gets so, and it's not necessarily even the wife's fault. It might be that the relationship is at the point where the husband, it becomes like, I'm so used to you that you don't notice. But anyway, so you guys, that's what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Sometimes, and when we are sitting here going, how is it that I attract narcissists? What is it about me? It's not necessarily always that you attracted the narcissist to you, but that you fall for the narcissist tactics because of a vulnerability or a wounding inside of you that you had no idea was there. So it's always good to continue to grow. It's always, and if you're already in a relationship, it's great to continue to grow together, to learn about each other more, to take that time once a week at least, right? To just look at each other and pay attention to one another. And when you're developing these healthy relationships, either with a partner or, like I was saying in the first scenario, if you are um, if you are grounded and you are stable and you know that you don't have this fear of abandonment anymore and you've tackled that, you've dealt with that, you've gone to therapy, you're good, right? When the narcissist starts their tactics on you, it just doesn't work. You can kind of see it a mile away. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. Let me see. I know I've been talking so much because I wanted to get that all out. Let me see what you guys have been saying here. Sorry, it's kind of glary. They're looking for a doormat. Yes, slave. Amina says, I stay strong, gave in one time, and I have been even more you've been worse than before. Yeah, when we go back the second time, that's what I believe is talking about. If the narcissist, once we've left the narcissist after all this abuse and we realize this is a toxic relationship and they pull us back in, oh my gosh, it's always worse the second time. Kathy says, I had a new truck. He was going through bankruptcy, losing his house. Oh no. And yeah, and that's another thing. We do become targets, by the way. Sometimes you are an actual target of the narcissist if they see that you have something they need, such as financial security. Yeah. Eye Off the Tiger says, yes, Amina, you know better now. After 4 years, you got this. And that's great. I love that you guys are encouraging one another. Kathy says 3 months later, Vegas marriage. Oh my gosh, right? The rush. They've got to get you. They got to nail you down. They want to lock this in, right? So they will. That's the whole rushing and why they rush, because of their fear of abandonment. Since they have a fear of abandonment, they are going to rush us to a commitment that will be very hard for us to get out of. For them, probably not so much, For them, when they're ready to go, they're gone. No piece of paper, not even having children will keep them. And that's another series, by the way, is they will try to get you pregnant or get in, if it's a guy, yeah, he'll try to get you pregnant. If it's a girl, she'll try to get you to get her pregnant. And oh my gosh, to lock you in even deeper. It's crazy. Amina says, before he did dump me, he wanted he wanted you to get a loan for over 100,000 euro, but you didn't. Thank goodness. Tell me you didn't. That means didn't, right? Okay. Oh my gosh. Brave bird, good to see you. You said, I believe my narcissistic ex chose me because I appeared to have the life he really wanted. Yes, free spirit, traveling, who I surrounded myself with. He later resented me for everything he said he loved. Yes, right? That's how they work. And unfortunately, I don't know if you were there for the beginning. I would suggest you go back and listen to it. But the reason we fall for the narcissist is a wounding that we have. So even if you feel strong, you thought you were healthy, you're doing really well. And I hear this a lot from people is like, I was doing fine before the narcissist came into my life. I was happy before the narcissist came into my life. But the thing is, if we have a fear of abandonment that we have not dealt with, or a fear of, or a need for affirmation that we have not dealt with, the narcissist knows those two things so much because that's almost their entire identity, by the way. It's a fear of abandonment and need a desperate need for affirmation. We may not be desperately needing it, but if we haven't dealt with the wounding there, we may fall for this incredible fire hydrant, unleashing flood of affection that we get from the narcissist. Yeah. But Amina also says, this is true, Bird. He wanted it. He wanted your life. Yep. Amina says, oh, okay, she's trying to say your. Okay. I have the tiger. That's when they start to cheat. Yep. I'm sorry. You're probably talking about I'm not sure at what point they start to cheat. But you guys, that's what I wanted to say today, is to share with you why we fall for the narcissist, why we're attracted to them, even when we were doing great. We felt good, we felt strong, we felt healthy, probably even financially, emotionally, we're doing just fine. And then this narcissist comes in. But if there are woundings that you have not dealt with, they will find, or you'll be attracted to them because of how much the love bombing. There are people who can resist the love bombing, by the way. The ones who can resist the love bombing are the ones who have dealt with that wounding, or have a wall up so high or so strong that they don't let anybody in. They're just very skeptical people and maybe bitter, which is not good either, right? I don't want that for you guys. I want you guys to get healing from wounding and not put up bigger, stronger, thicker walls. That's not the goal here. Because eventually those walls will be lowered, and that's when the narcissist is going to have access to you, and you don't want that. So what are some of your happies and crappies this week? I have not heard from you guys about that. I want to hear what's going on in your life and what you guys have seen or think about this topic, because I want to teach people how to spot how to spot the tactics of a narcissist, but you may not be able to spot it if you're looking through your lens of wounding. So the most important thing to do right now, while you're not with the narcissist, is examine that wounding. Don't shame yourself. No, not at all. I don't want that. That will do you no good, to shame yourself or to put yourself down, which is what I did this week, by the way. That was my crappy. I looked side to side and I was upset with myself for not being where somebody was with their healing. I was not happy with myself, comparing myself to somebody else, where, I don't know, it's not just all about wounding. It could also be where I want to be in my life, which actually I don't really. And it was so stupid. I'm sorry. It was so stupid of me to get there, because it was a mind, I don't want to say the word, but you know what I mean. It's a mind screw, because we do this to ourselves too. And it's so unhealthy. We put all these negative thoughts onto ourselves. I'm not enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm not as smart. I'm not as good. I'm not as whatever. And we have to stop with that negativity. Oh my gosh, that just furthers the wounding. It's so stupid that we do this to ourselves. I did that to myself this week. That was my crappy. So I have to make sure that I don't do that again. I've got to make sure that that is still an issue for me. So the moment I start to think anything negative, the shame, like onto myself, like, oh, I thought I dealt with that wounding. What the heck am I still doing here? Then I have to turn that to like, okay, I'm not going to beat myself up for this. I'm going to fix this. Yeah. So anyway, you guys, let me see some of your comments here. Let me see, Tammy. Oh, is that right? I'm sorry. My screen is so dark. Good to see you, Tammy. She says, they find every way possible to lock you down. Kids, financial commitments, crazy chaos. Your wounds draw them. Yeah. Our wounds make us more vulnerable to their tactics, and we give in. It's when we walk away that we look back and go, what the heck? How did I fall for that? And then we start beating ourselves up. No, which is terrible. Don't beat yourself up for it. You were wounded. That's how they got in. Even if you thought, well, no, I was strong, I was smart, I was stable, I had everything going for me, I was happy. But there was a certain wounding still that you didn't, emotional wounding that maybe you didn't deal with. And that's how they got you. Kathy says, I remember towards the discard, he actually asked me if I was abused growing up. Holy crap. Yeah, because yeah, they can sense it. They know what our vulnerabilities are. And here's, oh my gosh, you guys, I was reading about psychopaths. I read a lot about psychopaths actually, and I've been wondering like what's the difference between a narcissist and a psychopath? Oh my gosh. And by the way, I do have I have a lot to say about that as well. But the narcissistic tendencies of a psychopath and a narcissist are similar, right? For psychopaths, they said that they will, this is a study that was done in a prison or several prisons actually, populations. And they found the psychopaths within the prison population is like, oh my gosh, really high, 80%, something like that. So out in the real world, there's a lot less, obviously, right? But psychopaths, narcissists, they tend to have a criminal mentality. So that's how they end up in prison, a lot of them. I feel really bad for the other 20% who are in there with them, who are criminals because of, having a bad hand in life or, bad upbringing, or sometimes it's a trauma that happens in their adult life that turns them, into the criminal world. But they end up in prison with these psychopaths, right? And the psychopaths and everybody actually in the prison will be given opportunity to take classes for self-betterment and self-improvement, right? They'll even have group therapy, one-on-one therapy. I mean, there are these extensive programs. And what happens with the psychopath, what the psychologists are seeing is that psychopaths do not get better. They will use these programs to study people. They will actually sit in therapy groups and learn the psychologists or therapists' tactics on how to manipulate and control the target, or the person and the other people. And they will kind of elevate themselves to the level with the therapist as if they are better or as good as the therapist, which is insanity. But yeah. And I was just commenting to Kathy here, who was saying that her ex was asking her if she was abused growing up, because a lot of times narcissists do study people. They do learn psychology actually. And those who were court mandated to go to therapy or get evaluated or get counseling or whatnot, they learn how to manipulate through those classes. This book, this author also was talking about how in the prison system, a lot of psychopaths, what they'll end up doing is taking courses on sociology, on or psychology, and on, oh, I can't remember. Um, yeah, like mental, I can't remember the other topic, but something like that. And they learn how to manipulate people more, and dissect them emotionally, psychologically. It's crazy how equipped they become. Oh, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Ted Bundy, he worked with, this is another thing, he worked with a sheriff's department for, I don't know, a season, for a period of time. I think it was kind of part of his, he was in some political, I don't know what it was, arrangement, where he ended up working close side by side with the sheriff's department and within the sheriff's department. So he learned the vulnerabilities of the detectives. I'm not individually, I'm talking about like he learned what detectives are able to see and what escapes them. So that's, oh, that's so sickening. It's so scary as heck. Um, anyway, that's why, you guys, I say if the narcissist leaves, you're lucky. You just don't look back. You are a person who cannot or will not empathy for somebody else, who is abusive, who is self-serving, who's self-centered, who can't understand your pain and blames you for their pain. They project, there's so many things that are psychologically messed up with a narcissist that if you stay, it's just going to, one, either just continue to get emotionally worse and worse, or two, it becomes a physical danger to be with them. So you guys, that's why, if you got out, just be so glad, so happy that you're out of there. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying here. Sorry, I'm missing some of this. Oh, they find a way. Oh yeah, to lock you down is what Tammy said. And remember, towards the discard, he asked if you were abused growing up. That was Kathy. Kathy says, my happy, 3 times my daughter treated me to very nice dinners. Oh, that's so awesome. I love it. My crappies was very low energy. Yeah, totally get that. I don't know if you guys have heard about this. I'm going to try this and I'll let you know what happens. But there is a celery craze right now. And what I understand is it's a good liver cleanse. And once you cleanse your liver, oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, a little bit of a TMI warning. I also understand there are like explosive bathroom issues the first day, probably even within the first 30 minutes of drinking celery juice. Anyway, not the store-bought celery juice. I'm talking about people who are juicing at home, right? Half a what do they call it? A stalk, I guess, of celery, like the whole bundle, half of that. So yeah, I hear that helps with energy and it helps to detoxify your liver and your skin. You'll probably break out more pimples and all that, but that's your skin releasing toxins. So if you keep with it, your skin actually starts to look pretty good. So I'm going to give it a try and see how I feel, see if my energy goes up. I also had heard that it helps with sleep, which would be great. So that would help with your energy as well. So if your body is not fighting all these toxins and trying to process toxins, you probably will get better sleep. Hold on, you guys. I'm going to look at some of these comments. They should put them on heavy work in prison. Yeah, that was in response. Okay, that was Kathy's response. That was in response to my saying that I've been reading books about psychopaths, and what I'm learning is that a lot of times they study psychology and sociology and human behavior, stuff like that, while they're in prison, so that they learn better how to manipulate psychologically. That's yeah, pretty crappy. I lost you. Oh, are you there? I hope so. Okay. Oh, what happened? I hope you're still there. Yeah, XXX says, never tell any new potential mate any of the things you hurt over. I hold these things close to my heart now. Well, okay, I don't say never, okay? But I agree with you. This is something that the narcissist does. They overshare. They act as if they're vulnerable. They open up very quickly to you. And our instinct is then to react the same way, give them more about our story and open up to them and become vulnerable. Thank you for bringing that up, by the way, XXX Outlaw, because I agree with you about that. Be very careful about what you share, because they will target and they will use that then when they want to manipulate you. Especially if they know, oh my gosh, it could be all kinds of things that have happened in your past. Like if you have a fear of, let me think, of not being good enough or something like that, right? They'll say, you're just not as good as this person. Oh my gosh, right? What the heck? Or you have image issues. You think you're too big or too heavy or whatever, right? And they'll say, I really don't like how you look. Your gut's getting bigger. It's just all kinds of, they will attack the things that hurt you the most, that you have the insecurity about if you tell them right off. So thank you, XXX, for bringing that up. Free Spirit, hi. says Ted Bundy also worked as a counselor on a suicide hotline. I know. That's right. Oh my gosh. Yep. And I think that there was a woman who worked near him or next to him or, in the same room or something, said he was a really pleasant guy. I think I'm pretty sure that's what she had said. It's been a while since I saw that documentary. Yes, the discard was a blessing, Eye Off the Tiger says. Yep. And Kathy says, I discarded him, but I let him think he left me. It's the only thing that worked. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're right. If you discard them, they're going to come back for revenge. So, expect it. And um yeah, because they're injured, they're wounded, they're very angry. They may come after you. So if you can discard and get the heck out of there, great. But if you can work it in a way where they feel like they were in power and they discarded you, and even if they change the story to say, I discarded you, I left you, and you know that they didn't, you know that you did, let them run with that story. Let them have that fantasy story, because that will serve you better. You don't want them, believing that, well, you don't want them coming after you for revenge. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Uh, Kathy says, girl, I don't have to juice it. I eat it just the way it is. I know. I like celery too, but some people don't. And there's this crazy juicing craze right now going on. That's to cleanse. And you know what? I haven't been eating much celery. I think I'm going to start again. I do cook with celery quite a bit though. Eye Off the Tiger. True XXX. Yeah, about sharing too much of your vulnerabilities and your woundings with a potential partner. Yeah, you're right, XXX. You're saying it with a potential partner. This person is not yet a partner. This person is just someone that you're kind of feeling out. You don't need to pour out everything about yourself. You are right about that. Amina says, yes, don't tell any secret at all. Never, ever. You have to be so careful with that. Yeah. It's quite interesting. Yeah. I'm just thinking about relationships I've had with narcissists where I look back now and I hugely regret telling them some of my vulnerabilities. I didn't tell them all of my vulnerabilities, but the things I did tell them, I trusted them at the time. I didn't realize they were a narcissist. And now I look back and the only way I can deal with that now is to let it go. Like, well, they know now. And if they want to spread that to other people and tell other people or mock me or whatever it is they want to do with it, there's really nothing I can do about it. Like, hopefully other people won't believe them. Hopefully, especially if they embellish it, hopefully other people will realize that that's, or not care really. They're probably like, oh, okay, well, now I know about that person or more about them. They might gossip a little bit about you, but then eventually they're really not going to care. These flying monkeys and fan clubs, that is, right, of the narcissist. So I want to give you guys that hope too, by the way, because I've had people write in and say how they've been smeared and devastated by the smearing. I want to let you know that some of that devastation is coming from our minds, because we believe that these people that are hearing the gossip about us care about the gossip, right? Usually they just want to be entertained. They just want to hear gossip about people so they can smear and laugh along or whatever it is they do, and then they let it go. They don't really care. Now, if it affects your business, obviously that does, damage financially. And that to me is more tangible and, of course, more damaging to your livelihood, obviously, right? So you, in those cases, yeah, try to clear your name. The heck with that, take them to court for libel if you have to. But if you're not finding that it's affecting you financially, just who cares? Let it go. That's the way I see it. It's like, if my life is so important to these people, they must have a very boring life. So I just let it go. And you guys, I was just sharing with a friend recently that something like that had happened to me for a long time. I was smeared so badly by, I don't know if you understand or know this, but if one of your parents is the narcissist, you could be extremely smeared, devastatingly smeared. And I was growing up, and I didn't even realize it, how she was turning like entire um, I don't want to say neighborhood because she didn't really get plugged into the neighborhood, but her friends, her social circles, how much she smeared me in those to the point where I find out from their kids later on the stuff my mom was saying about me. And I was like, what the heck? You know, she's trying to undercut me. She's trying, sabotage me all along the way. And sometimes you just gotta let that go. Like, if these people believe the crap that she was saying, then I don't need their reverence. Or their respect. I don't need their attention. I don't care. Just let them be. If they want to criticize me, let them. And that's where I am now. It's like, oh, what the heck? You can't control what other people say or do. You just gotta let that go and not look and go on with your life and realize that if they're so amazed by your life and so intrigued with your life, then boy, they must have nothing going on in their life. Kathy says, I still get punished. Oh no. But the Hoover was no more and he got married. Wow. Right away. Seriously. He still got punished. I'm so sorry to hear that. That really sucks. Oh, I like that. Crazytown Production says, and we're not related, by the way, you guys. It's wise to let them think they've won. Yeah. They slander you after discard anyway. That's why they feel. Oh, why feed the beast? Okay, that's from XXX Productions. Yeah, that's true. No need to feed that beast. Maria, hi, says, I let him think he divorced me and he left to marry someone else. It was a blessing in the long run once I had healed. Yes, right? It really is a blessing once they're out of your life. Where was I that I don't know if it was in a comment, but somebody was saying how they thought, oh, I'm sorry, I think it was one of these stories in a book I was reading, that the victim, or the ex, I guess, from the narcissist thought that everything was beautiful and going great with the new spouse, only to find out that the abuse was extensive with the new spouse, and the new spouse eventually ended up divorcing the narcissist, of course. And even if the new spouse doesn't divorce the narcissist, the abuse is continuing. It's just that the new spouse is so wounded that they're willing to stay and continue to take the abuse. And that is no life for you at all. And you guys, that's what I wanted to share with you. I'm so glad you guys all got on today. I really appreciate you. I love hearing from you guys. The name Crazytown is really a coincidence, no joke. I know. Well, I do appreciate, I like that you have that name too. This is Crazytown Productions that's commenting. Yeah, when I saw that you were commenting on some of my videos, I was like, what? So that was pretty cool. I don't know where yours comes from, but mine comes from my entire life, honestly, because I was raised in Crazytown. And when I met my husband and he met the narcissist in my life, he was like, oh my gosh, you've got to get out of that crazy town. And then we started calling the crazy people in our life, well, anyway, crazy woman or crazy man, or yeah. So it just became total crazy town. And my whole adult life has been trying to escape crazy town. And I think I've done it. I think I've done a pretty good job. Unfortunately, I met some narcissists who became friends and really close, intimate friends, if you will, in my adult life. because I didn't realize what my woundings were, and I also didn't know what narcissists were. I just knew there was Crazytown, where people acted really crazy, and then there were the covert narcissists later on that I met that fooled me for quite some time, and then there were the overt narcissists that normally I would see their red flags, but my wounding, I was looking through the lens of wounding and let them in. And that's how I have all these experiences with narcissists. Oh, you guys, I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry about that. I hope are we still here? I have no idea. Oh, I see. Oh, well, you guys, it looks like I am going to go offline now because I've had some issues. Oh, here we go. Let me see if I can turn this around. There we are. Yeah, I don't know. My camera is such a mess today. Sorry, you guys, about that. So, yeah, I'm going to let you guys wrap up a few of your comments here. And sorry about that ending. Well, it was kind of terrible. Kathy says, Oscar, that aloe vera is so beautiful. I'm a gardener. The color is so gorgeous. I know. I love this stuff. I got to use it more. It's growing way out of control. So, XXX says, I'll take one ticket leaving Crazytown, please. Have a good day, everyone. Yes, one-way ticket out of Crazytown, people. That's the way it is. And I love that you call me Oscar, Kathy. So I think I will keep with that, and maybe it'll catch on. Yeah. I remember one time you were saying that you were telling your brother that my name was Oscar. Yeah, I appreciate that. Kathy, oh, Crazytown Production says, have a good one, Outlaw. Oh, yeah, XXX Outlaw. As always, a pleasure being with you all. You guys, you're awesome. Have a wonderful day. Blessings to you all. I'll continue to pray for each of you, and healing and wholeness and peace. I wish you all the happiness, and I want to hear great things from you guys next week. Have a blessed day.